we have to speak about Deepwoken, man. This game has lost so many players, and honestly, I don't think anyone saw this coming. Like 3 years ago, if you told anyone that this game would be averaging below 2k, brother, they would have laughed in your face. But now the game can barely average that many players anymore. We have to blame the Deepwoken developers because they made so many unnecessary changes to the game that just don't make any sense at all, and they kind of strayed away from what the game initially was trying to be. Like, the game peaked in verse 2, and since then it hasn't really been the same. Like, it just hasn't really improved all that much since that time. Deepwoken just has no creativity, no innovation, just nothing that really stands out anymore. And somehow with each update, the game just gets even more stale and just more boring to play. Like, the progression in Deepwoken has become atrociously long to do. Like, who do they think is going to spend hours grinding in a game where you can have permadeath and it's ganking in the game as well? Like, who's going to spend hours grinding for items that have already been nerfed? They've already messed up a bunch of balancing in the game already. So it's like, is the Deepwoken dev team even serious about this game? Because what are these choices of updates as well? Like, even the biggest, mess up in the game was the physics update. Like, I don't know why they did that in the first place. Completely messed up the movement in the game, made, just jumping, doing anything in the game feel extremely slow and stiff. And I know some people might look to blame Agamatsu right now for all the issues that Deepwoken has right now, but at the same time, Deepwoken always kind of had these type of problems, but it wasn't really amplified as much as it is right now. Like, during K1's run, there was still balancing issues in the game that weren't really that great. Like, there was always issues when it came to balancing, when it came to nerfs, when it came to items and stuff. Like, there was always issues in the game, but it's only become even worse now because Deepwoken doesn't have any real direction right now. Like, I mean, obviously the Deepwoken developers don't really know what they want to do with the game because all these updates, all these content changes, all these nerfs, it doesn't really reflect what Deepwoken actually is. And all these deviations are starting to make Deepwoken feel like a bandit beater in a sense, rather than actually feeling like an open world type of game. So I think the best way to really revive Deepwoken, in my opinion, would be to first improve the balancing, because this game has been suffering from balancing for so long. Like, you would think that this game has 0 testers based on the way the balancing is so trash in this game. I think the balancing being so bad makes builds become useless very quickly because the meta in Deepwoken changes so much. Like, in between updates, there'll be a no armor weapon that just becomes overpowered and it's not really balanced out right. So it ends up being that, you have to change your build a lot more. And even with that, Shrine of Order's been nerfed. They genuinely don't make anything easier for you anymore, and it's kind of annoying because even with PvP, once you've ganked enough times, once you've done enough PvP, it's like, bro, is there anything else that comes with this? Because, bro, it's very parry based, it's very sweaty, it's very toxic, and it gets to a point, and there's not really much variation with PvP to begin with. PvP is uninspiring, it's boring, it's stale, and I'm not even trying to be a hater. I just think the game lacks a lot of direction and it really needs a good roadmap in terms of how they want to do things, because I think the game right now just suffers from not really having a clear motive and direction when it comes to, let's do content like this, let's have updates like this, let's push forward, let's make the game more interesting instead of just trying to add a bunch of clutter, instead of just trying to add a bunch of stuff that doesn't really make any sense. Like, there's no real direct motive to make the game significantly better. It's all about just adding more instead of making it more expansive, which is always supposed to be the case when it comes to a game like this, because it's an open world game, right? You have to make it more expansive, you have to make things more interesting, you have to bring more aspects into the game, you need more different ideas. You can't just be doing the same things over and over again and thinking that people are going to accept it like that. There has to be something different in the game, and I think that's what Deepwoken is missing, is that it's become too repetitive. And I know some people might be saying give them time and let them cook, but at the same time, how long are they going to cook before they burn down the kitchen, bro? What should be said is, how can the game actually improve? And I feel like there's a couple ways the game can actually improve. So first and foremost, having PvP zones in the game. So I think that, it will make ganking a lot less toxic if there's actually PvP zones in the game. So for example, you can opt in to actually have PvP rather than getting jumped by 10 guys and getting wiped. So that will make the game a lot more enjoyable in my opinion. But obviously you can say that Chime of Conflict does the same thing, but I'm talking about having the choice of not doing PvP until you reach a certain level, because if you get wiped and you come back and you immediately get wiped again, it's a weird toxic process. So give people a chance to actually play the game a little bit, because it kind of just make it a lot more annoying to play the game where you get wiped, you come back in and you immediately get jumped again. So I feel like having that choice of obviously not doing PvP until you want to reach a certain level, that just makes the game a lot more enjoyable rather than having to get ganked immediately after dying. I also think that Deepwoken needs verse 3 and layer 3, because the game needs brand new content, it needs something fresh, it needs some more world building in my opinion. So I feel like having some new maps and location will really breathe some new life into the game and really bring back a lot of that interest that the game has kind of been missing, like more intrigue, more content, just something that really brings back players, because right now the game is missing that. There isn't really much else to do because verse 2 and layer 2 have become kind of boring in my opinion. We've already played it since like 2022, so I mean, we can hope for those updates, but it feels like the Deepwoken developers are really out of touch when it comes to the game. So we just have to wait and see if they can actually fix this game, but I don't know if they can, because really and truly bro, when was the last time we actually got something that was actually worth our time to play this game, bro? Like, when was the last time we actually got a meaningful update? It's been a while, man. I want to hear what you guys think down in the comments, because I really want to know what would bring Deepwoken back to where it was initially. What would actually revive Deepwoken? Because I'm not exactly sure what they could really do, because even though I've suggested like verse 3, layer 3, you know, improving the PvP, having PvE a lot better as well, you know, fixing progression, these are things we can't say for certain will actually revive the game or actually help the game become better, because the Deepwoken devs could easily fumble and mess up all these updates and changes to the game. So it's like, are we sure it could actually work? So let your thoughts known down below, and with that being said, peace.